हाय फ्रेंड्स, आज हम बेसिक माइंड मैप्स डिस्कस करेंगे। ऐसे लगने के लिए और कोई भी क्वेश्चन लगने के लिए बहुत बहुत ही हेल्पफुल होगा। तो मैं लिया हूँ इनसाइट से, सो देख लीजिए। थोड़ा इंट्रोडक्शन टॉपिक है एलिमिनेटिंग टॉर्चर। कैसे हमें टॉर्चर को एलिमिनेट करना होगा, ठीक है। इंट्रोडक्शन: द सुप्रीम कोर्ट हैज डिस्क्राइब्ड टॉर्चर एज एन द सुप्रीम कोर्ट had described The Supreme Court had described torture as an instrument of human degradation. Okay. Okay. Introduction में देखिए recently a Supreme Court dismissed the petition to ensure is standalone. The standalone law compliant with the United Nations Torture Convention. The Supreme Court said the government has to take a political decision. The Supreme Court said that the government had to take political decision and on whether it should be really ratify the treaty. In recent years, there have been widespread appeals from civil society groups, okay, and international organization for India to ratify the convention, the United Nations Convention Against Torture. Okay, come from in the 4th 1987, and India signed its 1997. India is CAT Convention Against Torture. 1997 India signed. India is repeatedly promising and failing to ratify the convention against torture. Many countries have recommended that India must ratify the CAT. The 273rd report of the Law Commission has also recommended ratification and drafting a comprehensive legislation. Okay, National Human Rights Commission (NHRC) has strongly urged the government to recognize torture as a separate crime and codify the punishment in a separate penal law. Okay, so torture cases in India. Torture is prevalent in different countries. Torture in India. Torture cases have been escalated in India. NHRC. Okay, NHRC, the National Human Rights Commission, had reported a significant number of torture cases involving police and security organizations in Ranbir Singh's and state of Haryana. In 1980, the Supreme Court said it was deeply disturbed the recurrence of public torture. It was deeply disturbed by the recurrence of police torture. In another case, the Supreme Court said that torture is alarming proportions. The recent example of bus conductor being faced to confess of murdering school child in Delhi pointed to the case of torture as an investigation tool among policemen. Torture is prevalent in different contexts. In criminal cases, it is evident in the numerous custodial deaths that continue to occur. In the context of terrorism and organized crime case, in conflict environment, torture and detention are common. Need for anti-torture law and constitutional protection under Article 21. Constitutional protection under Article 21, right to life and liberty. Okay, of Article 23, Right 20 bracket 3 right against self-incrimination. Need for anti-torture law for extradition. Need for anti-torture law for extradition of offenders from other countries. Recently, United Kingdom refuses to send a person to India to face trial. United Kingdom refused to send a person into India to face trial on the grounds of that there was no effective system of protection from torture. Conditions in India's prison, especially the chronic problems of the overcrowding, are a reason for the country's extending extradition request failing. To reduce custodial violence, eliminating the of torture is the main aim behind United Nations Convention. A standalone law will be seen as a tangible way of expressing India's commitment to eliminate torture. Such a law will be in the national interest to prevent cases like bus conductor first to confess the murders of a school child in Delhi. Okay, eliminating torture. Way forward, India must expeditiously ratify the CAT and enact the Prevention Against Torture Act. The ratification demonstrates goodwill and political intention to comply with the international norms and standards. Enacting a law prohibits torture is both a moral imperative and program necessary. Legislative measures must aim to eliminate all forms of torture and other cruel, inhuman, and degrading forms of treatment. Any torture prevention bill must be comprehensive to deal with torture in the broadest manner possible, and ensure punishment and compensation as methods of prevention. India must show to the world that it is committed at combating the terror and implement the promises made to the United Nations. To be fight for, India must act like one. Chinese water diversion plans. Second topic. Introduction. There is news in a report that China is planning to divert the waters of the Yarlung Sangpo Brahmaputra to Xinjiang province. There is a news report that China is planning to divert the waters of the Yarlung Sangpo Brahmaputra to Xinjiang province. China's plans to build a 1,000 kilometer long tunnel to divert water from the Brahmaputra river in Tibet to Xinjiang region. This has emerged as a point of contention with China-India strategic relation. Okay. Next point, implication. India and Bhutan, Bangladesh have raised concern for the adverse impacts on it would have on downstream areas. It has raised concern among the environmentalists about its likely impact on the Himalayan region. The wildlife and ecology in the downstream will be affected. Analysts have described the China taking control over Brahmaputra water as most dangerous. The fear of drying up the Brahmaputra has become widespread in India, especially in Assam. And the fertility of the soil Assam plains will be affected as flood waters from Brahmaputra will decrease. For India, national security implications also follow as the Yarlung Tsangpo and also flows into a disputed border region with China. It can be seen as China annexing India to reach the deal. Okay, on the sharing YTV. Okay, Yarlang Sangpo Banglutra. Hmm. India reached to on a deal. Okay, of the sharing of YTV for that favors China's economic interest. Will a dam lead to downstream disaster? China has begun generating electricity from Tibet's biggest hydropower project. Here, Sangpo River. Okay, Yarkung, Yarlung Sangpo River, China, Tibet, Brahmaputra River coming to here, this province. It is Arunachal Pradesh to Assam Assam. Okay, this region to Bangladesh. Okay, so water resource experts Assam say, some कह रहे हैं downstream impact. Okay, Indo-Tibetan border. Significance of Brahmaputra. The lives of many millions of India and PFL citizens are reliant on the Brahmaputra River. The Brahmaputra is an important resource for India's own water diversion plans, the National and River Interlinking Project. It is considered a powerhouse to meet India's energy demands in the future. Brahmaputra annual flooding cycle helps re-fertilize soils in the Assam plain. Means it provides the necessities for agriculture and marine farming. Concepts and challenges. In recent years, China has raised to share hydrological data on Yalam Sangpo Brahmaputra River. Okay. During the monsoon season, China changes approximately USD 1,25,000 for its data it provides to India. At the same time, it sends similar data to Bangladesh for free. Discussions over the YTV have often been overshadowed by the border dispute. There has been no progress in discussing issue of who has the right to how much water and the impact of dams and diversions. China wants multilateral cooperation to transboundary water sharing, while India, on the other hand, prefers political bilateral relationship. India and Bangladesh have stretched its relationship over Tista River sharing, whereas China is cooperating more with Bangladesh on water issue. Way forward, it needs to be examined through data, hydrological regimes, upstream intervention, and their downstream implication. India needs to clearly envision the desired goal and strategic outcomes for dealing with impending water conflicts. India needs to strengthen its relationship with Bangladesh by pushing the Tista River Agreement and restore its image as a responsible upper riparian. India must galvanize the support of the neighboring countries like Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh to prevent China from implementing large-scale diversion projects. India needs to be firm in negotiations with China on water rights, as it did in the case of the Doklam standoff. India needs to push for bilateral agreement on water sharing as it has with Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh. India must treat water as a strategic resource and sign an intellectual strategy The international spotlight on China's unilateral scores. नेक्स्ट देखेंगे इंडियन डिजिटल इकोनॉमी. Digital economy refers to the full range of economic, social, and cultural initiatives supported by the internet and related information and communication technologies. Digital economy refers to the full range of economic, social, cultural activities supported by the internet, released information and communication technology. The digital economy refers to the full range of economic, social, and cultural activities supported by the internet and related information and communication technologies. Some experts regard it as the third industrial revolution. Some people consider the digital economy as a major part of growth enabler. Digital payment, Make in India, Startup India, Skill India are among the key drivers of the digital economy. Digital economy has the power to change the lives of millions of people. Digital economy has the power to change the lives of millions of people in India. Opportunities for India. In the next 3 years, India will add more than 300 million new mobile subscribers. By 2025, it is highly likely that India will be the largest mobile network market in the world. India is developing a mobile-first digital culture and smartphones, fueling a boom in e-commerce and other forms of business. With a rapidly growing middle class and a young tech-savvy population, online personal services are about to take a big jump. International companies are looking to increase their investment in India's digital economy. Improve telecom infrastructure as well as improved smartphone now gives the opportunity to benefit from services such as banking and retail. According to industry experts, India has the potential to grow $2 to 3 to 4 trillion digital economy by 2022. A digital economy has the potential to generate huge employment opportunity. Digital skilling has a lot of potential as India has a rich talent pool that can be used to meet global demand. International examples. Estonia is now Europe's digital leader. Their country has succeeded in building high-tech infrastructure and a regulatory culture that engaged new digital competition. However, there are some countries in Europe that have protected markets from digitization because of fear of new competition. That misconception has blocked the economic renewal is in many European countries. India should adopt policies that serve the interest of the entire economy and avoid repeating the mistakes of some European countries. Key challenges is the unequal access to the internet, the greater the gender gap in mobile ownership. Mumbai and Delhi still rank behind Jakarta and Manila, the most network cities in the world. Cybersecurity is a serious challenge. Cybercrimes and cyber terrorism has grown more rampant. Service changes remains a challenge for people at the bottom of the digital payment pyramid. Again, Uninterrupted access to proper power is essential. However, across 22% of the rural households across the country still do not have access to electricity. A recent study shows that 90% of the Indian population remains unbanked and financially excluded. Digital again. And way forward. So digital revolution must include communities and regions that were previously not part of the information and communication technology advancement. Sectors of must be opened a new digital business models through reductions in regulatory restrictiveness. For countries to reap the digital dividend, there must be space for new digital competition, experimentation, and entrepreneurship, removing red tape and that burdens digital entrepreneurs with unnecessary cost. Mm. Technological innovation is a boom for India. The only thing that matters is now is how much it is allowed to change the economy. Government must format mm, uh, government must format uh, new electrical policy software products policy frameworks for data security and product. Thus, needs the the focus needs to be on creating technology that is affordable, development and digital inclusive. The idea of setting up special innovative zones for startups must be explored, ensure similar tax compliance regimes in order to further India's global ranking in ease of doing business. The need for internet and mobile application training aimed at less educated and the low income groups. The digital economy could be important vehicle for change and could dramatically expand India's role or influence in the global economy and become a powerhouse of digital economy innovation. और पानी पी लीजिए. Let's start. China is based for market economy is a status. The United States has formally told the World Trade Organization (WTO) that it opposes granting China's market economy status. To the move comes as trade tensions between Washington and Beijing are increasing. Okay, the insists mm, Beijing insists the Beijing insists that under Section 15 of the protocol assessment the country's upgrade as a market economy and auto automatic on the company of 15 years of its WTO membership in 2016. Market economy status. Market economy status is a status conferred on the country expanding the goods, the prices of the goods on which they are exported by the country are not questioned, and it is accepted as a benchmark. Prior to the status, country is considered as a non-market economy. Here, the importing countries can determine the prices for the exports from enemy country. It often leads to imposition of higher anti-dumping duties by importing countries to protect its domestic market. Okay, so news MES issued to China. As far as per 2001 agreement protocol of accession of China to the WTO member countries, member countries had then decided to deem China as a market economy from December 2016. The 15 years time period was given to China to carry out internal reforms and transition into a market economy. However, unlike market economies have where prices are marked determined, there is still significant government influence the Chinese market. Many countries are opposing to give MES status to China, market economic status. Okay, while reforms in Africa, Latin America who are dependent on Chinese investment, okay, to boost manufacturing are inclined to grant MES to China. Reasons for opposition. Several nations that have a strong manufacturing base are concerned about according to MES to China. Chinese government influence in its markets causes distortions in international trade and export to cheap goods to other countries. Government subsidies for various sectors, currency its manipulation, and the related price fixing, lack of proper business accounting standard, etc., bad loans of banks, and absence of transparency in lending rates, concerns that other developing countries follow Beijing's lead. Why US is blocking Chinese bid? US is protected at WTO against China bid for recognition as a market economy. The use of several state subsidies in China distorts market price. Chinese imports flooding domestic markets and causing job losses in the manufacturing sector. China's state-directed economy had not made the reforms necessary to operate on market price. To protect domestic industries from Chinese products being dumped at price below at the cost of production. The European Union and Japan, among the others, also reject Chinese bid for recognition as a market economy. India's reluctance to grant MES to China. MES status to China will severely curb India's ability to impose anti-dumping duties to cheap imports from China. Low-priced imports from China will have negative impact on India's manufacturers in chemicals, steel, electrical, and electronics sectors. This might lead to loss of jobs and increase the already high level of NPS in steel and manufacturing sector. It will further widen trade deficit with China. Of the 5,535 cases, where anti-dumping duties were imposed by India during 1994 to 2014. In maximum 134 has been on goods from China. Rise in economic status to China of China can further fuel its aggressive stance in the region, which will be detrimental to India. Way forward, besides best trade practices are necessary for proper functioning of international trade, the creation of innovative technologies, the sustainable growth of the global economy. Countries must strictly honor their commitment to international principles and laws and fulfill the agreed upon international pacts. China must take the necessary measures to safeguard and legitimate rights in the WTO. Okay, topic is housing for all by 2022. Okay, introduction. The government launched the Housing for All 2022 programs in 2015 with the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana as a key anchor scheme. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana advised 20 million urban units 2022. The government accorded infrastructure status to affordable housing, thereby opening an arena of growth opportunity for the sector. Need for providing affordable housing to a right of to shelter is a basic human need. To ensure a decent habitat for people in urban areas, particularly the poor. Global examples indicate that affordable housing activities generate direct and indirect employment. It also generates sustained consumption in the long run. A 2014 study by the National Council of Applied Economics Research, okay, this indicates that every additional rupee in capital invested in the housing sector 1.54 to the GDP. Every reaches 1 lakh invested in residential housing to create 2.969 lakh new jobs in the country. For achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 11, ensure adequate, safe and affordable housing and basic services and upgrade slums to uplift the living standards of the peoples as well and pave the way of prosperous India. Concerns, challenges. The programs of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana implementation has been disappointing. Supply side challenges include land availability and supply of quality developments. Lack of participation of large organized real estate players due to low profit margin. Massive capital expenditure at every stage. The lack of skilled workforce will negatively affect the scheme. Lack of clarity of powers on various agencies extended execution. The scheme decisions that should be taken on a local level are often devices by the state or the central government. The approval process is slow, which is again a big challenge in the World Bank's easy of obtaining construction permits index. India was ranked 185 out of 187 countries in 2016. Illegal settlements that is not fit for human habitation, lack of clear communication and coordination among the implementation agencies. Land and property records are currently not digitized and remain in poor condition. People residing in ancestral homes with ownership in the name of their deceased parents of the slum dwellers will know property rights face difficulty in availing interest subsidy on the home loan. Housing for all 2022 way forward. The actual execution on the ground needs to be accelerated to realize the true potential. States need to simplify the process of updating property records so that citizens can obtain legal documents of their land and property. Enable individual households who don't have legal city titles in cities to upgrade their housing and providing them with security of torture, tenure, even no eviction guarantee. Ahmedabad success with the slum networking program shows that the security can encourage slum residents to invest money and upgrade their shelter. The government should proactively allow urban public land holding to be utilized for affordable housing projects. The government can also explore an affordable retail rental housing scheme which could be create a stock of affordable housing. Countries such as Singapore, Sweden have such huge public housing programs. The private sector can play a role in implementing the best construction practices and in maintaining the housing stock and practice the network New York practiced in New York by building a strong support system and land holding the real estates empowerment. We would create an ecosystem of quality developers. Loan need to be provided and affordable rates in new single window clearance can help in faster approvals, fast tracking approval processes and targeting the actual beneficiary. The entire housing ecosystem need to be well developed and all the stakeholders need to work collaboratively with high degree to conviction and risk taking ability. Skilling India, last topic. Today's last topic is Skilling India introduction. Today India is one of the youngest nations of the world with more than 62% population of working age group. Population in the working age group, about 250 million young people will be joining the workforce over the next decade. The level of competition in the future will be so high that people will have to skill multiple times to survive in their field. They need to read for Skilling India. The economy is now diversifying from being largely agro-based to a manufacturing and service-based economy. This has resulted in an increased demand for skilled labor. Much of India's workforce is already hampered with outdated and irrelevant skill. As technology continues to surge forward, both blue and white collar jobs will become increasingly sparse. The government analysis says that between 2022 24 sectors will be an additional 109 million skilled workers. Market-relevant skills are needed in today's high competitive job market. Organizing of Economic Cooperation and Development (OECD) data depicts skill shortage in India. India's young aspirational population has been regarded as the server and driver of future economic growth. Government's objective. The government launched the Skill India Mission, which aims to train over 400 million people in India in different skills by 2022. Various schemes have been launched to further the aim of skill development. The objective is to enable a large number of Indian youth to take our industry relevant skills training that will help them in securing a better livelihood. World Bank assistance. India signed a loan agreement with World Bank under skill acquisition and knowledge awareness for livelihood promotion Sankal project. Okay, skill acquisition and knowledge awareness for livelihood promotion. World Bank will provide $250 million loan to India to skill development for skill development program to support livelihood. The objective is to enhance institutional mechanism to skill development and increase access of and quality and market-related training to the workforce. Skill trainings of female trainees and disadvantaged group. Concerns and challenge. The challenge faced by the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship and complex and varied. Herculean challenge for skilling 400 million young Indians by 2022. National Skill Development Corporation has been tasked with managing the financing processes with also implementing the skilling program. Though Skill India skill training has improved in recent years, the absence of job linkage is aggravating the problems of unemployment. Recent data shows that of the 30.67 lakhs trained candidates in June 2017, only 2.9 lakhs had received placement offers. Okay, so with technology's advancement, conventional jobs are squeezed. The bureaucratic red tapeism is hindering the interaction between the industry and the skilling institution. Skilling programs are the end of employability creation. The education system is the primary incubator which is lacking in India. Ministry of Finance. Okay, Ministry of Finance can manage the financial aspects so that ANSDC can focus on its core competition since multi-skilling programs is required as job markets evolve at unprecedented rates. It is important to provide trainees with more than one way to earn a living. Skilling and reskilling order educated populations that might be left behind owing to technological advances. A solution-based approach where instruction must employ easy case studies and present relevant problem. Skill training should be viewed as a complementary part of mainstream education. Okay, cut through bureaucratic red tape, implementing structural changes to the pedagogy and the skill training system, and installing regulatory mechanism ensure that electricians, plumbers, agricultural machine operators, and other skilled trade workers update their skills regularly as practiced in most developed nations. The coursework should be industry focused, and the practical trainings should be more than just theoretical work. The interaction between the industry and the training institutions still needs improvement. CSR funds can be used invest in Skill India by the employees, including your industry-based practices and the training models, providing skill development programs for women, marginalized communities, trainees, tribals and people with disabilities to enable them enter the today's labor market. Thank you friends, complete हो गया.